Wish you all a good day. The topic of my this semester BTech project is data-driven health monitoring of a bridge. So let me first describe about what the structural health monitoring or SHM is. SHM provides the methods of monitoring the structures and mechanical systems on real time as well as over a period of time using a periodically spaced dynamic response received from them. In a schematic diagram, it can be seen that the response from the structure is captured by the transducers and is sent to the data acquisition controller. From the DAC, it is sent to a server over a network. Different analytical computer and database are connected to a server remotely through the internet, which exchanges information from each other continuously. So what are the benefits of SHM? It can identify corrosion, cracking, strength, tension, and the location of damage in a real time. It is the integration of five procedures: operational evaluation, data acquisition, feature extraction, dimensionality reduction, and statistical modeling. But here, the feature extraction is the most crucial procedure in the whole monitoring study, as it is the extraction of the information which actually contains the damage information. In this report, a detailed study on the feature extraction has been presented. Our dataset has been obtained from the Center of Structural Monitoring and Control Department at the Harbin Institute of Technology, China. It contains the signal response from the various accelerometer installed on the bridge deck. The image of the bridge has been shown here, which is a cable-stayed bridge. For our analysis purpose, the signal response from only one such accelerometer has been used in this report. Each data in our dataset consists of an hour-long recorded signal at the frequency of 100 Hz. Our dataset consists of such signals recorded for over 7 months. After we received our dataset, the first process is the pre-processing of the data, which involves denoising. Here the denoising has been done using a wavelet decomposition method, and the wavelet used is Dobas 8. It fits the data using scaling and shifting operation and generates coefficient. The decomposition framework can be understood as follows. A signal S is taken, it is first subjected to a special type of low pass and a high pass filter to yield low pass and a high pass filter band at level 1. The low-pass filtered signal is again subjected to a low-pass and a high-pass filter at level 2, and this process goes on until the specified decomposition level is reached. The coefficients are generated at the each level, and the coefficients which are smaller in values are typically noise, which are again then removed from the signal. The remaining coefficient reconstruct to form the denoised signal. The image shown here is the value decomposition of any one such hour-long signal data with the decomposition level set to 3. The coefficient generated at each level is represented here. The coefficient which are smaller in values are discarded and the remaining coefficient reconstruct to form the denoised signal which is given in the next slide. After we get a denoised signal, we can't use such an hour-long signal to extract feature. There's a designed algorithm which can automatically detect the informative parts in the signal and store it on the PC. The designed algorithm is as follows. A sliding window of size 1000 is initiated at the beginning of the signal. If the maximum amplitude inside the window is greater than the threshold value, another sliding window of size 10 is initiated inside the window and is slided until the exact point where the amplitude is greater than threshold is not found. And when once found, the inner window is terminated and the starting point is noted down. Now, the window is slided further until a condition occurs where the maximum amplitude inside the window is less than the threshold value. Then again, another sliding window of size 10 is initiated inside of it, and the point is find out and the ending point is noted down. These steps are performed again and again until the windows reach to the ending point of the signal. And now we have received the array containing the starting point and the ending point of the subsignals. Now, if the subsignals are closer than the threshold defined value, then those subsignals are merged, and if the subsignal size is less than the defined length, then those subsignals are rejected. As you can see in this figure, my algorithm first detected the informative portion in the signal, and the place where the two subsignals were closer than the defined value, they got merged, and the signals whose size were less than the specified value, they got rejected. In the time domain categories, the first method is the collection of statistical features, as these features altogether defines the properties of the signal. The features are maximum, minimum, mean, standard deviation, mean absolute deviation, skewness, kurtosis, RMS, form factor, crest factor, impulse factor, and margin factor. Now, the statistical features of all the data present in our datasets are calculated, which are plotted here. I have not included all the plots because of the time limitations that we have. From the plot, it is clear that the bridge had already been damaged in August, but the onset of it had already begun in the month of the June. Second time domain features which we can extract is George's parameter. It is suited for the real-time analysis because of its low computational cost. The parameters are activity, mobility, and complexity. The plot of one such parameter is shown here. From the plot, it can be seen again that the behavior of the bridge had changed from the month of the June. Third time domain features that we can extract is using ARIMA model. ARIMA model describes a given time series based on its past values, that is from its own lags and lagged forecast error, which in turn is used to form a model which can forecast future values. ARIMA consists of combination of three models working together. The first one is AR or auto-regression model. It is the process of regressing a variable on its past values and thus uses a number of lagged observations of itself to assign a weight to each past term. The second one is integrated. It is a property to reduce the seasonality present in the data and to make data stationary. The third one is moving average or MA. It removes the random movements from the time series data and uses the error terms of the previous points to predict the current and the future value. Before applying ARIMA, we must check for the stationarity, as when ARIMA is applied to the non-stationary series, it gives spurious and unreliable results. In this report, the order of AR, I, and MA has been used as a feature. The order has been calculated using the auto-ARIMA function in Python and is further tuned according to the Bayesian information criterion. Here in the first figure, we can see that how our tuned order perfectly fits the data. In the second and the third figure, the order of the AR and MA terms calculated over the data in the dataset has been plotted. The third and the last time domain features that we have used to extract feature is the mathematical morphology operator. This operator modifies the shape of the original signal by transforming it through its interaction with the another object called the structuring element. The operators used here are erosion, dilation, closing, and opening, and its formula is given here. Since MMA is used in binary and grayscale images, hence to use the technique here, we first converted the signal into the binary form by applying the threshold amplitude value and then applied the operator. After implementing different operators, the remaining one's value in the respective operators are summed and used as a feature. Now coming to the frequency domain, on the application of the fast Fourier transform on the signal, we got the distribution of peaks, which can't be used as a feature. So we calculated the statistic of the feature distribution, which can be used as the feature to distinguish different signals. The statistical function used for calculating the statistics of the distribution are frequency center, root variance frequency, spectral skewness, and spectral kurtosis. The frequency center calculated over the whole dataset is also shown here. When we applied the Hilbert transformation on the signal and used it to calculate the power spectral density, we again get the distribution of power over frequency. So we applied the same technique as used in FFT to get the feature. Now coming to the complexity measurement category, we used the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. It is used to compare and measure the similarities of two cumulative distribution functions Tx and Rx, where Rx is the reference CDF and Tx is the target CDF. Rx is set as any one data which represented the healthy working condition of the bridge. That two CDFs are compared by calculating the statistical distance, which is taken as the feature here. Now coming to the results section, to cross-validate that the features extracted contain enough information for the damage detection, supervised learning classification models have been performed here, and the best classification model is further tuned. Since from the plot we get that the change in behavior is seen from the onset of the June, thus the signal from the January to April has been clubbed under the same class 0, and the signals from the June, July, and August is named as class 1, 2, and 3 respectively. For evaluating the accuracy score, k-fold cross-validation has been used. From the table, we see that the XGBoost model has performed the best. So on further fine-tuning the parameter of the XGBoost model, the accuracy increased from 90.778% to 93.45%. Confusion matrix shows us what percentage of data is classified in which group, which we can see that came to be very good. Also, we can see here that the precision recall and F1 score for each class is giving a very satisfactory result. This is a feature importance plot. It shows which feature is how much useful in predicting the class. Now coming to the conclusion. The first conclusion that we made is that from the plot of different features, it can be inferred that the state cable started weakening from the onset of the June, which was much earlier than calculated. This happened due to the fatigue failure caused by the increased loading, which resulted in the concentrated load in some particular point that led to the crack in the bottom of a girdle segment situated in the midspan of a bridge at the end of July. The second conclusion that we made is that the feature extracted above has enough capability of capturing the variability introduced in the signal due to the change in the behavior of the structure. The third is that in the confusion matrix, it shows that a significant amount of time model misclassified the signal response from the June as Jan to April signal, whereas an almost insignificant number of signals from the June is misclassified into July or August signal. This indicates that the severity of damage was very less in the month of June as compared to the later months. Now, the last conclusion is the importance of the feature in deciding the model came out to be in order of mean, which is greater than complexity, which is greater than kurtosis, and so on, as illustrated. Thank you for listening.